All right. Hey guys, welcome back to the architecture show. It's Arda here, aka Funky Designer 99. Today we're gonna talk about renderings and more specifically collage renderings. I will specifically walk you through collages, what are them, how to make them, and how to make them look good. Like always, collages are, especially in architecture school and in architecture competitions, really important to, it's to visualize your projects and also showing how they would look like in three-dimensional space, and most importantly, telling a story with a lot of personality, a lot of creativity, which is why they're wanted a lot in architecture school and competitions too. The other end of the spectrum is the super hyper realistic renderings, which is easy to be compelled to them. Same with me, which I did too, but the truth about them is they are hard. It takes a lot of time to create them. It takes a lot of time to make a good one, and hell of a lot more time to really master one, really. But on the other hand, creating collages are really fast and lets you express your creativity and your personality, which I don't mean that realistic renders doesn't do that, and I don't believe that it doesn't do that. Like, I believe it does, and I don't think that one is better than the other. It's all about the project, and it's all about the story and how you want to tell the story, and they're both really good, and you can choose whatever you want. At the end of the day, they're just tools to help you tell a story, tell their specific story. And if you haven't watched the episodes 1 and 2, I would highly recommend that you check them out, because I talk about the basics of and how-tos about floor plans and sections and elevations. So go check them out too. A good rendering, or in this case a good collage, is essential when telling a story. So let's get right into it. Just like floor plans and sections and elevations, there are a couple of key concepts here that we want to take a look at and we want to keep in mind when we're doing a collage. But before we get into them, like I always do, let's just take the good old notebook out and tackle the questions first. What is a rendering, a collage, a perspective? What does it do? So think of it as a photograph, because it literally is a photograph of your unborn child. Our goal as an architect is basically telling a story, showing the building in the three-dimensional real world space and showing its function, and to make it really attractive to someone else. So about the classic gear question. It is known that the super realistic renderings are really hard and pretty hefty on a lot of computers, and the software they use are not the cheapest nor the least demanding softwares to use, and there are different programs with different requirements, but they're all just pretty hefty programs, I would say. But on the other hand, today our topic, by the way, I will talk about renderings too, so stay tuned for that. But on the other hand, the collage is gear-wise super basic. You can use basically any Photoshop-like program, even Microsoft Paint, or you can basically use magazines and just cut stuff out of them, or just like colored papers and just cut something out of them and just do something, just using your creativeness. So the key concept number 1, lines, not line weights. I know, you thought I was gonna say line weights? Nah, I didn't. Basically the perspective lines, the proportions of it. As long as you have the proportions correct, it doesn't really matter. The other stuff is just personal taste. So I would recommend that you check out architectural photographs and architectural photographers and their work, so you can just understand better what is a more compelling photograph and what are some like classical photographs or cliches, if you want to say cliches about them. It's like, how do you do like 2-point perspective or like 1-point perspective or stuff like that. I would recommend that you learn them, which we will talk about too, but I would recommend that you check them out. Just a couple of like very basic examples for your rendering projects. Just copy them and just adjust them to your own taste, so you can just find that out. And the other part of the lines is the proportions and the proportions of the frame. So it can be just a 16:9 ratio, which is what we use in YouTube, or a lot of computers have like 16:9, or televisions nowadays. They used to be 4:3, or you can use 1:1 frame, just like Instagram or stuff like that. It doesn't really matter, because whatever fits best to the project, do that. Do whatever feels right to you. Key concept number 2, my favorite concept of all time: fills and shades and colors. You guessed it right, colors. I love it. I love it. You can use basically a lot of different texture images or colors or shades to convey materials or the story, just basically. Best part of collage is that it is up to you. You don't have to show the materials, you don't have to show the colors. You can just do a black and white one just with lines. You can use a lot of colors, or you can just use a lot of materials and just use everything. The best part is that it is up to you. Like every material, every color, sun, skies, anything, it doesn't have to play by the rules, which is awesome. The only rule I would say is that it should tell a story. It should serve the song, and it should tell a story, and it should not be complicated. It doesn't have to be simple, but it shouldn't be complicated, and it shouldn't be harder to read. So you can find different texture images like these and Google Images basically, or Pinterest, or anything. Like you can just, I don't know, just write concrete seamless texture and bam, you're there, you know. And what I mean by seamless, which is important that you know this too, what I mean by seamless is that when you merge two textures to make one larger or bigger, it blends in perfectly, and it doesn't have any seams. You don't see where it is, where one ends and where the other one starts, so it doesn't have any seams. That is hence why it's seamless textures. So I didn't know that too, so knowing that helps. And the other part, colors, my goddamn favorite subject of all time, which I will talk about them in depth in another video too, which will be a slightly longer video because I love talking about colors, but still I will very basically just explain it to you right now. Very basically, every color have different meanings. So like, what do I mean by that? It has different meanings in movies, in psychology, and architecture. So a very classic one, red could be the color of love, or maybe anger, or maybe danger, or just a very classic one. If you use green in a forest type of setting, it's, you know, it just gives nature vibes. But again, this is very much personal taste. There is a whole nother subject as color theory, color psychology. I would link some videos down in the description, or just some sites. But again, I will talk about colors in a totally other video, and with in-depth stuff, which we will maybe have a couple of professionals talking about color too. So stay in tune for that. The last key concept: scale elements, vegetation, people, and furniture. So these are especially important, like I said, again, like showing the scale of the building, of the room, and also showing the use of the building too, and giving it character and how it would fit in the three-dimensional world. Adding vegetation and furniture is a guideline and portrays the story of that building. If it's a house, make it a home, and it's all part of the experience for the reader. It's all for that. It's all for the song, so serve the song. For example, I have used tropical palm trees in this plan because, again, the song is more of a tropical vibe. The building of Culver City, again, highly recommend that you check that out. And also Entourage. It is a huge influence on these types of renders, especially on these types of renders. Like, you could use some comic book characters, sketch people, movie characters, album covers, like Beatles walking down the street on your collage. Same with colors. Like, I have used orange to give more warmth to it, but it doesn't have to be orange, maybe another color. Or you can go in a totally different way and use the sky and make it a texture, like a burger bun texture on the top of my head. And maybe the sun is a tomato, Like, it could be anything. Your imagination is literally the limit. And it is about showing off the building while expressing your creativity. So go crazy, but don't go like super crazy. Just keep it go super crazy. As long as you keep it understandable, you don't have to worry about anything. As long as it is easy to read, go crazy with it. Express your creativity. So that was basically it, dudes and dudettes and buddies and budettes. Yeah, don't forget to do the perspective lines correctly and do the proportions correctly and have a good frame of the photograph of the building. And other than that, there's no right way to doing this, so just let your creativity guide you. And I would like to say thank you for watching the video. Thank you for watching the video, and stay tuned for the next episodes because we're gonna have some guests over. Yeah boy. So till then, later.